Me karakia tātou. Tua ki te rangi, tua ki te whenua. Tua ki te ire tangata, ka rongo te pō, ka rongo te ao. Tūturu whakamaua, kia tina, tina, haume ei, hui ei, taiki e. A tēnā koutou I aku rangatira, he mihi ki te iwi a tau nei, a Ngāti Whātua ōraki, a tēnā koutou. Kia tātou e tau nei, ka nui taku mihi. A tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā tātou, katoa. E tu waiata.
Puria nei e te hau, horoia e te ua, whiti whitia e te rā. Mahe ake ngā pōraru. Makere ana ngā here. Makere ana ngā here.
Kia ora korua. Kia ora koutou katoa, ko Nigel Harris, toku ingoa, ko au te tumuaki o te kura taura rangahau. So my name is Nigel Harris and I am the Dean of the Graduate Research School. And it's also a pleasure to be your MC this afternoon for the 3-minute thesis, AUT 3-minute thesis competition. Welcome everyone, kanohi ki te kanohi in this auditorium, and also welcome to a significant audience online, live streaming. Good to have you behind the screen. So this year's competition is for doctoral students only, and it is by video submission only. And so you're going to see those videos as part of this afternoon's proceedings. But I'd like to start by giving you a bit of an overview of the 3-minute thesis, the 3MT competition. First of all, it was developed by our good mates over at the University of Queensland in 2008, and it's been broadly adopted ever since then. The concept is really simple. You might not believe it, but competitors get 3 minutes to present their research, and it's just the one slide. And so the challenge is to make their advanced research really accessible to a broad audience, because we're all involved in very specific disciplines. Of course, as academics, we are all enamored of the super esoteric, and your challenge is to try to communicate that to people who are not in your discipline. Now, our winner from this afternoon's event will represent AUT at the international level. It's an international competition, and so they will be competing in the Asia Pacific Finals, which occurs in October. So it's a challenging competition. It's a prestigious competition. It is one of the world's foremost research communication events. A lovely format, 3 minutes to get your message across. And that's challenging because not only have you got to distill the information, but you've got to do that, or the competitors have to do that in a video format. So those are different sets of skills. And they bring together, things that go beyond just the doctoral study, and things that will work for those competitors for life. So we have 5 competitors being shown this afternoon. The judges have had a tough job narrowing an extensive field down to those 5 finalists, and you will see those videos. But before we proceed, I would like to acknowledge our sponsors, and I'm sure that all our competitors will be grateful, particularly the winner, the runner-up, and the audience vote recipients of the sponsors' prizes. So that is AUT's Graduate Research School, Te Kura Taura Rangahau, ICT Services and Supplier Partner Cyclone, AUT Ventures, and AUT Sport and Fitness Centres. Thank you very much to our sponsors, and I'll run through what those prizes are shortly. In fact, I'll do that now. Now, you're going to be part of selecting those prizes as the audience, and I'll tell you how to do that shortly. There'll be a QR code that comes up later, so have your device ready, but make sure it's on silent. You're going to vote for your favourite, and the winner of your vote will receive the Audience Vote Award, and that is a $500 research award from the Graduate Research School. Very nice. The runner-up of the competition will receive, bear with me, an HP ProBook X360 435 G9 with pen from ICT Services and Supply Partner Cyclone. Thank you to ICT Services and Supply Partner Cyclone. And one exercise consult, so that's an exercise assessment and program when you're finished on that computer, from AUT Sport and Fitness Centres. Thanks very much, AUT Sport and Fitness Centres here in Haman. Now, the winner of the 2025 AUT 3-minute thesis competition are going to receive an HP ProBook X360 435 G9 with pen from ICT Services and Supply Partner Cyclone, a $500 research award from the Graduate Research School, a $300 Prezi voucher from AUT Ventures, and a bunch of cool branded merchandise, which I believe is known as merch, from AUT Ventures. Thank you very much to our sponsors there. Now, someone had to choose the winners, and that is our judging panel. We have 3 marvellous judges, and you'll meet a representative of those judges this afternoon. Dr. Inez Irvine, who you will meet shortly, is the lead of our Researcher Education and Development, Te Kura Haparangaho units at the Graduate Research School. We have Kim Tairi, our university librarian, good colleague of ours, and someone who has very much been in the shoes of our competitors, and that is last year's winner, 2024 AUT 3-minute thesis competition winner, Ryan Howard. So very well placed to judge, of course. The rules. Well, I'm going to surprise you with the very first rule, and that is that the presentations are limited to 3 minutes, and that's very, very strictly applied. Cannot be 3 minutes and 1 second. It's not like back when you were an undergraduate student and it was a 1,000-word essay plus or minus 10%. It's 3 minutes. You go over that, you're done and dusted, you're out of there. The presentations are considered to have commenced when the presenter starts their presentation through speech or movement. So that's a tricky one, because you've got to hold frozen and then start talking and moving synchronously, or not. They've got to be spoken, the presentation, so you can't rap it. Or sing it, and no poems either. So that counts me out. 3-minute audio's got to be continuous. You can't have sound edits and breaks. You can't have props. There's no costumes. Musical instruments, laboratory equipment, animated backgrounds. None of that is allowable in the 3-minute thesis competition. No electronic media, so you can't have the good old sound and video files that we all like to rely on as presenters. And it's a single slide. So this is no death by PowerPoint. It's one slide and it's static. You can't have animations, one slide only. And that's what the judges have got to review. So just to let you know, although of course a component of this is presenting it by video, the competitors aren't judged on their video recording quality or editing capabilities. It's not about that. It's on their ability to get their message across. And so the judging focuses on the presentation rather than, their sort of ability to put together the video technically. So what are the judges reviewing in terms of criteria? Well, believe it or not, it's based on the rules. So there are kind of two components. One is substance, so comprehension and content, and that is what is the matter of the presentation. Motivation, background, significance, the research strategy, the methods, the results, and then the so what, the conclusion remarks, the substance components. And then we have a second category, and that's the style, I'd call it, and that's the engagement and communication. So that's how you do it, rather than just what's in there. So the oration, that's how you're talking, delivered clearly, appropriate language to a non-specialist audience. You're not pitching this to a conference of your peers, it is to a non-specialist audience. The PowerPoint slide was well-defined and enhanced presentation, and some enthusiasm, a little bit of that intangible, how did it come across? Capturing the attention. So the judges have got to put all of that together in the mix. So with all of those rules and criteria defined, it's a pleasure now to introduce you to each of the 5 finalists. Let's watch their videos. It's been a random selection. And we will start with introducing Nisha Suresh, who is doing her PhD in the School of Community and Public Health in the Faculty of Health and Environmental Sciences, with a presentation titled Effects of Yoga and Nidra on Nervous System and Sleep.
What if you could improve your sleep without sleeping? In a world of continuous to-do list, we are often stressed or exhausted, but still we struggle to fall or continue sleep. Insomnia affects 1 out of 3 adults in the world and often increases the risk for heart diseases, depression, anxiety, obesity, etc. We do have medications, but then they are just temporary relief and they come with side effects. They don't even address the root cause, which is the overstimulated nervous system. Being a yogi and a researcher, I've always wondered how can we improve sleep naturally? In my study, I will be exploring Yoga Nidra, an ancient yogic practice, as a simple, drug-free solution. Yoga Nidra or yogic sleep is a guided relaxation technique in which a person lies down and is taken through different stages to go into a deep rest mode, but with your mind gently awake. There are so many claims around the benefits of Yoga Nidra, especially on brain and sleep, but there are hardly any studies. And if there are studies, they lack objective measures. In the PhD study I'm doing, I will be dividing people with mild to moderate sleep issues into Yoga Nidra group and relaxation music group. We will be assessing them first after 30 minutes of practice and again after 4 weeks of regular practice. We will be using machines to understand and also measure their brain activity, heart rate, skin response, and respiratory response. To understand their sleep measurements, we will be using different tools like questionnaires to measure sleep duration and quality. This helps me to understand not just how they feel, but also how they respond to Yoga Nidra. The key 2 questions of this study are, will Yoga Nidra improve sleep? And also, if it can help in calming nervous system. If proven effective, Yoga Nidra will be a safe, affordable, and evidence-based method to manage insomnia. In this world obsessed of doing more, Yoga Nidra reminds us the solution is in resting deeply. Namaste.
Namaste, Nisha. Sign me up for that as long as I don't have to give up caffeine. I'm into it. So number 2, welcome to Catherine Forsch, doing her PhD in the School of Clinical Sciences in the Faculty of Health and Environmental Sciences, and her presentation is titled, Can We Improve Return to Play Testing for Sports-Related Concussion?
You've done the hard work. You've followed your rehabilitation plan and you've returned back to playing your favourite sport after a concussion. Now imagine the frustration and heartbreak if you were to suffer another injury. Unfortunately for many athletes, this is a reality because currently worldwide, when you return to sports after a concussion, you have at least twice the risk of a subsequent injury, either another concussion or a serious musculoskeletal injury like an ACL tear. I'm Catherine and I work with athletes after concussion, and this is where my PhD was born. Can we improve return to play testing for sports-related concussion? Currently, we rely a lot on subjective symptom reporting, on the athlete telling us how they're feeling, and that guides our clinical decision making. And this can be problematic after a concussion. We also typically test athletes in a resting state, in a clinic room. And this never quite sat right with me when we think about the demands on the brain and the body in the sporting arena. So for the first part of my PhD, we explored whether exertion was useful as part of a testing protocol. We completed a systematic review to look at whether exertion highlighted some differences between healthy and concussed participants when those differences weren't present in a resting state. And the answer was, yes, it does. Exertion appears to be a really good way to sharpen our assessment tools. But the second piece of the puzzle is, what do we need to be doing pre and post exertion? What measures should we include in our return to play testing protocol? So together with my expert advisory panel, we came up with a cluster of measures that explored things that we felt might be responsible for an increased injury risk. Things like eye tracking, balance, moving in space, decision making, how well you can do more than one task at a time. And I'm now completing a randomized controlled trial where we're looking at how healthy people and people who are recently recovering from a sports-related concussion perform on this cluster of measures, and how their performance changes over time and before and after exertion, with the idea that we can then inform physiotherapists or sports medicine professionals with a simple cluster of measures that they can do before and after exertion to increase their confidence that that person's truly recovered and keep athletes safer.
Thank you, Catherine. It's certainly an area that's become uber topical very, very recently, and it's in no small part to researchers such as yourselves and your great colleagues in this very institution. So well done on that presentation. Now, our third presenter is Zahra Ozia. Zahra is doing her PhD in the School of Science in the Faculty of Health and Environmental Sciences, and her presentation is titled Reprogramming the Cancer Battlefield the Microbial Way.
Imagine you feel an unusual pain in your stomach, or you lose appetite. You go for a routine checkup, nothing serious, and then you hear you only have 3 months left to live. This is the brutal reality for many diagnosed with pancreatic ductal adenocarcinoma, or PDAC. PDAC isn't the most common cancer, but it is one of the deadliest. In New Zealand, only 16% of patients survive past a year. One promising treatment for cancer today is ICI immunotherapy. Our immune system has tumor-killing guards called T cells, but cancer is a master of disguise, slipping past unnoticed. ICIs act like special vision goggles, letting T cells see through the disguise and attack, and in many cancers, it's worked brilliantly. But PDAC resists almost every treatment. It doesn't just hide, it builds a fortress wrapped in fibrous barricades and guarded from within by traitorous pro-inflammatory cells that trick our immune guards into thinking there's nothing wrong. So what now? Enter bacteria. Some may tip the balance, either fueling the fight or feeding the fortress. I've identified 2 bacterial species of interest. Question is, will they help or hinder the attack on PDAC's fortress? In my research, I will build 2 miniature 3D models of PDAC, not with plastic or computers, but with living cells. First, I will grow PDAC cancer cells into tiny spheres called spheroids and wrap them with fibroblast cells to recreate the tumor's infamous barricades. My second model uses patient-derived organoids, similar to spheroids but more complex, grown from patient tissues made available to researchers. I will be working with 3 organoid lines representing distinct tumor mutation profiles. Now for our soldiers. I will isolate immune cells from donated blood samples and mix them with our 2 bacterial species. They mingle, strategize, and prepare to infiltrate the spheroids and organoids. Finally, I'll compare the battles with and without bacterial support by seeing how many immune guards breach the walls and how effectively they destroy the tumor inside. Molecular markers let us watch the fight at a cellular level. We hope these microbes act as allies, sounding the alarms, ousting the traitors, and enabling the ICI-powered T cells to take down the tumor from within. This isn't just about better medicine, it's about rewriting the battlefield, turning silence into signal, and unleashing the immune system to increase the chances of survival for one of the most resistant cancers, known as PDAC.
Thank you, well done, and I really appreciated the analogy of fighting the cancer in the fortress, and I think there have been many, many people who can relate to that, if not themselves, then certainly those close around them. So wonderful cutting-edge research, and appreciated hearing about it. Our 4th presenter is Ankit Parikh, and Ankit is doing his PhD in the School of Clinical Sciences. You can say that a bit louder. Ankit Parikh. Gone shy now too. In the Faculty of Health and Environmental Sciences, and his presentation is titled A Portable Drug-Free Treatment for Chronic Pain Management. We'll just rewind that one quickly and start again.
Did you know that chronic pain affects around 1 in 5 adults in the Western world? This number is likely higher in lower-income countries. Chronic pain is pain that persists beyond the usual recovery time. It impacts a person's health, mood, and overall quality of life. Long-term back or neck pain, arthritis, migraine, or fibromyalgia are just some examples of chronic pain conditions. Many people report suffering from these conditions for years or decades. Chronic pain costs billions in healthcare and lost productivity. Medications are only about 30% effective, and opioids carry serious risks. While surgeries and alternative treatments like cognitive therapies, exercise, or acupuncture help some people, we need more effective, drug-free, non-surgical options. Pain becomes chronic due to factors like overactive pain processing in the brain, immune system dysregulation, and body's overactive stress response. Research shows that electrically stimulating the vagus nerve through its branch in the ear can help manage pain by regulating these factors. And if that stimulation is timed with exhalation, it's even more effective. However, until now, research investigating these effects of exhalation has been carried out only in laboratories, as portable equipment didn't exist. To address this challenge, I've built a portable system that delivers exhalation time stimulation. In my research, I conducted 2 studies. The first study involved 30 healthy participants who wore various sensors alongside clinical equipment to measure heart rate variability and breathing. The results of this study helped me select the most accurate sensors to build the system shown here. This system consists of a custom earbud to impart stimulation, a stimulator, a sensing system to detect exhalation and record heart rate data, and a mobile app to control the entire system wirelessly. Then I conducted a pilot study in which 12 participants who had rheumatoid arthritis used the system daily for 20 minutes over a 2-week period. They also visited the hospital 3 times, during which we collected blood samples and asked questions about their pain and mental health. The results of this study are promising, with excellent compliance, high usability ratings, and no serious side effects. Additionally, participants reported reduced pain and improved mental health. These results suggest that home-based use of the system is safe and feasible. Overall, my work has led to the development of a much-needed portable system. The system is ready for future long-term trials and has the potential to become a drug-free, non-surgical option for pain management.
Well, thank you, Ankit. In a world of pharmaceuticals, drug-free and home-based, portable is certainly something to be pursued of great value. Our fifth and final presenter is Makanaka Tue, and Makanaka is doing her PhD in the School of Social Sciences and Humanities in the Faculty of Culture and Society. And her presentation is titled Hatina Musha Panyika, We Have No Home on Earth.
Hatina Mushapanyika translates to "we have no home on earth." In the study, it is a metaphor for cultural homelessness, something that is described as an ongoing tension to define or to feel at home for those who grow up or are raised in a culture that is different from their parents. It represents the liminal space in which some queer Africans in Aotearoa, New Zealand occupy, where they face rejection, silencing, and exclusion in cultural and ethnic communities, and in the wider society experience racism and class-based exclusion. This results in invisible forms of oppression where the needs of queer Africans slip through the cracks in the absence of social, cultural, and professional support systems. While the liminal space is often described as one of separation between here and there, in this context, it is a site of unbelonging that holds the potential for the creation of a new home and varying other ways of belonging. Inspired by the resilience and resistance I was witnessing to repressive laws and discriminatory attitudes by queer peoples globally, I wanted to contribute narratives about how queer Africans who live in Aotearoa, New Zealand, cultivate and nurture home, family, and community. As part of the project, I developed the Sisamatlo methodology to examine social identities, power, and inequities and belonging through storytelling. The data collection, which I referred to as the story gathering process, involved 6 steps that aimed to make sense of queer African experiences and to produce knowledge stemming from those experiences. After the story gathering process, I weaved what had been shared with me to develop a choreo poem, which is a series of poems and monologues that integrates music, movement, and performance. Some of these are titled Brenda Fassie Was a Lesbian, The Violence of Belonging, and Creating Home, amongst others. I chose the form of a choreo poem as one of my final outputs, as storytelling has the capacity to highlight the unspoken or the untouched themes and subjects in communities. Stories offer a glimpse into the worlds of others, illuminating their experiences. Stories also make knowledge accessible to a wide variety of people. The significance of the study is its contribution to the rare scholarly material on queer African migrants. It addresses a gap on the limited attention on migration within both queer studies and queer African studies. And it addresses limited attention on queerness or sexuality within African studies and African diasporic studies. The study will also serve as a resource to inform the urgently needed interventions and policies for queer Africans and queer ethnic peoples nationally and in Oceania. Lastly, focusing on queer African perspectives expands queer theory and the ways in which we articulate and understand home, family, community, culture, and society.
Thank you, Makanaka. Just joining in a round of applause with me for Makanaka again. We might have missed that on the camera. Makanaka has such valuable research, that sense of home, belonging, community, so tangible and so intangible, but so important and so really valuable research, and great to hear about it. Okay, get your phones out. It's time for your vote. Now, if you haven't got a phone or you have some sort of trouble with QR reading, then you can look at the link that's on the screen, but also for those of you who are live online, you can look at the live stream chat on the link in the online live stream chat. There is a link if you can't scan the QR code. So we're going to give you 2 minutes to cast your vote. before we proceed. And it's your vote for who you feel did the best job of communicating their research. You can vote for any of those presentations that you just saw once for one of the 5 finalists. Now, while we're waiting for you to just proceed with that vote for the next minute or so, it is my pleasure to introduce on behalf of the judging panel my good colleague and a very busy person this week with Research Week on, the lead of our Research Education and Development Unit, Te Kura Hapai Rangahau, Dr. Anais Irvine, to pass on some words on behalf of the judges. Over to you, Anais.
Kia ora, Nigel, and thank you everyone for coming, and congratulations to all of our finalists on making it this far. Now, usually when someone is at the front of a lecture theatre, they don't want to see anyone on their phones. This is a rare exception to that. I want to see everybody on their phones and casting votes for that Audience Choice Award. We want to make sure that our deserving candidates get the awards that they have earned, so please do vote for your choice. Now, I have the honour of sharing some insights from the judging panel. So I am only one member of that panel. You saw the other judges' names come up before. They are Kim Tairi, our university librarian, and Ryan Howard, who won this competition last year. So they have shared their thoughts with me as well, and I'm just going to relate those. So as Nigel mentioned, this event is the finals of 3-minute thesis. We did have a heats round as well, and there were many more competitors in the heats, all of whom were incredibly talented and communicative in their presentations. So the first batch of comments relates to all the competitors, and then I'll have some comments for the finalists. So this year, all of the competitors were of a high standard. I know often judges say that in their comments. It was really, really true. We had a fantastic field of 3MT entrants this year. They represented not only excellent research communication skills, but also just really exciting research. This is an opportunity to hear what our new generation of researchers is doing at AUT, and it was a really great round of research topics as well as communication. The judges wanted to share that we are grateful for the gift that you have given us through these presentations, because research is a gift to humanity. It's a gift to the world. You invest several years of your time, you invest your intelligence, you invest your energy in producing something that will benefit the world in some way. So research itself is a gift, and you have given us the gift of your presentations as well. We noticed very careful planning and preparation amongst the field this year. No one had quickly darted off a 3-minute recording on their phone. Everyone had put a lot of care into their presentations, so that was something to appreciate. We also noticed, now this is something for anyone who plans to enter next year, just a point to watch for, is that the scoring criteria put a lot of weight on your own project. So we noticed that some of the competitors had a lot of time spent on the context and the background, which of course is necessary, but we wanted just a little bit more emphasis on your actual project. So that was one thing to note for future competitions. But again, a really high standard. Moving through to the finalists, so the 5 videos that we've just seen today. Just a huge congratulations from the judges on the standard, on the work you've put in. They were really, really high quality. The passion you have for your research areas shone through. So we saw not just dry communications of research, we saw energy, we saw excitement, and we saw the value that you bring as researchers. We did feel that the competitors took on feedback really well. So between the heats and the finals, there was an opportunity for competitors to hear the judges' feedback and to re-record their video. And most did, and the feedback was taken on board really well. There were great improvements for the finals entries. We felt that there was more than one entrant who could represent AUT at the Asia Pacific finals. There were, in fact, several people who we felt would be fantastic representatives. Both the winner and the runner-up were exceptionally engaging. They described each step of their research in detail. They included their research strategy and design, and they included the significance, the impact, the outcomes of that research, all of which are reflected in the scoring criteria, and our winner and runner-up did that especially well. Now, those are the comments from the judges. I know you want to know the actual decision by the judges, and that is coming up very soon while we tally the votes. But I just wanted to say a few words while we wait for that audience winner about why this is important. So I've been working with the 3-minute thesis competition since embarrassingly early in its life. It's been around since 2008. I competed in about 2012 and have been organising competitions ever since. And the reason why this is just such a fantastic opportunity and an important thing to do is because when we do postgraduate research, when we write a thesis, you have this great big chunky document that is read by, on average, 5 people, cover to cover, right? We're talking about a small number of readers who will read in detail about your research. So the value that comes from postgraduate research comes in large part by talking about it, by increasing that number beyond the cover-to-cover readers, by taking it out to the world verbally. And our competitors have done a fantastic job of building that skill set and of showcasing their ability to speak to their research. So I'd like to invite everyone to join me in a big round of applause for all our competitors and finalists for doing that. All right. Stop waffling, tell us who won. So, it is my pleasure to first announce the winner of the Audience Vote Award. Now, our friends in the audiovisual team have done a very rapid job of tallying those online votes. And so, the winner of the Audience Vote Award is... Nisha Suresh, Faculty of Health and Environmental Sciences. Congratulations, Nisha. Oh, now you have some prizes to collect if you... All right, thank you everyone for voting, both here and online. Well deserved, Nisha. All right, now it is time to announce the runner-up of the AUT 3-minute thesis competition for 2025. And the runner-up is Ankit Parikh. Oh. Woohoo! Oh, whānau, help us make it happen. All right, so the moment you've been waiting for. The winner of the AUT 3-minute thesis competition for 2025, who will represent AUT at the Asia Pacific Finals. And the winner is Sarah Ozier. Oh, it's a lot of prizes.
Thanks very much, Inez, and congratulations again to all of the winners. Great event, certainly a pleasure to be part of. I just want to start with some thanks, and first of all to our sponsors, with the handful of prizes there, the AUT's Graduate Research School. I guess I would say that, but thanks very much to the Graduate Research School team and the Graduate Research School for the sponsoring. The ICT Services and Supply Partner Cyclone for those computers. AUT Ventures and AUT Sport and Fitness Centres. Thank you very much to the sponsors. Thank you to our three wonderful judges, Inez, Kim and Ryan. It's a lot of work and really appreciate and value your work. Thank you to you, the audience, who have been here kanohi, kite kanohi, face-to-face in person, and also to the audience online. Thank you for joining us. Always good to have you there. But most of all, I'd like to thank and acknowledge our wonderful competitors, because what they've just done is not just about their research, it's about presentation, it's about communication, and those skills, those attributes will stay with them for life wherever they go, irrespective of whether or not it's something to do with their research. So please, all five of you, stand up, and with anyone that supported you along the way, drag them up with you, and congratulations. Well done, everyone, and well done supporting friends and whānau family. You're certainly part of it. I expect you saw the person that you are associated with their head buried in that screen for quite some hours to do what they've just done, and it was certainly a privilege to be part of, so thank you. Now, audience, you've got one more little bit of feedback to do, and that's feedback on the event. We've got a QR code, I think it's coming up in just a second, so you can scan that and do a quick bit of a event feedback for us. That would be great. And we are going to celebrate this occasion now with kai, with food, and that will be out in the foyer. So we'll disembark the auditorium shortly into the foyer area to share some kai, some food together. We'll gather there first, and first of all bless the kai, the food, with karakia from my wonderful colleague Annalise Davidson, whose formal title is All Round Fabulous Everything, ARF. And thank you, Annalise, for all of the mahi, the work that goes on into these events and the way that you do it. So Annalise will provide for us a blessing of the food, a karakia, and then we'll share together to conclude the event. So once again, congratulations to our competitors. Thank you. Well done. See you out there.